I really like this camera, Canon R8. This is not the way I want to start the video, but I'm doing it anyway. I like to hold the camera this way. I always do. I mean, the grip is big enough for my maybe small or medium-sized hand, but I don't usually put all my fingers on the grip. I usually have the little one under the camera just like that, because I don't know, I feel better, more stable, more secured to have a finger under the camera, and I feel it's a little more balanced in the way I hold it. But that's the way I do. So for me, this camera and its grip are big enough, not too big. I don't like big cameras. Just as a reference, I come from this camera here, which is very tiny, and I think even this one, yeah, because it's tiny, you can only have, yeah, probably you can have 3 fingers. No, you cannot really have 3 fingers. I mean, it's too cramped. So I used to use this camera this way too, with 2 fingers on the grip, one finger on the shutter, and another one at the bottom here. And it's very lightweight. It's all plastic, so it's very easy to carry around and hold in the hand for a long period of time. But even with a bigger camera and a bigger and heavier lens, this way of holding is still the way to go for me. And this camera, the Canon R8, is still lightweight and compact enough and small enough for me to hold a whole day and to carry around. Yeah, I will not go bigger, I think, heavier. It would be too heavy. This is good. This is a good weight and yeah, a good balance for me at least. But I wanted to start this video telling you that we are Sunday. This is the last day of the week, and I push myself to upload a video each week, so 4 videos a month. And this is my very last chance to put a video this time, so no fancy setups like the lights on the shelf on this corner, because also I broke my tripod over there. It's a very cheap second-hand tripod. It broke. I need to buy a new one. I didn't have the time yet. The week was pretty hectic. So now I sit down and I finally start to record this video I promised you last time. And this will be a breakdown or a walkthrough the pictures I took in my last video titled A Day at the Park. What is the process behind the pictures I took, what tricked me, what interested me, what attracted my look, and also an idea I've been thinking about for a few months now, and I finally applied this idea. I tried it at the beginning of the video titled A Day at the Park. So without further ado, let's jump into the first picture I took. So here is the first picture I took at the park. This is the original out of the Canon R8, and this is the one once processed. So you can see that it is much warmer than the original here. And the reason is because, let me show you what I did. So I'm gonna open this picture here in Photoshop. Here we go. And it's not gonna be exactly the same process because I edited other pictures in the meantime, so I didn't keep exactly the same formula, but anyway, it's gonna be something like this. So roughly, I change here the contrast and highlights and shadows and whatnot. I think I brightened the shadows a little more. Maybe I put less contrast, I don't remember. But anyway, something like this. And then opening in Photoshop, what I did, the idea I had was to add a layer, and I wanted to put a layer of brown on top of my editing. Why brown? It's because in the neighborhood there was that vintage car of which the color was brown, And I say was because I don't see it around these days. Maybe the owner sold it. But anyway, I really like that brown, and I thought it would be interesting to experiment with that brown on top of the regular color of the picture I take. So then I was looking for the brown, and it's something around there. So I put that brown here, that layer, and then I change the opacity for 10%, and you can see that what it actually does is it warms up the picture. I didn't know what effect would happen, but I thought, like, usually we try to warm up the picture with the white balance. Maybe we play with the colors to pull it toward the orange or the yellow, or maybe if we want to have a cooler picture, we drag it to the blue side. But I didn't have any idea what would be the effect of adding brown layer on top of the picture. And that's what it does. And I think it emphasizes the vintage aspect of the picture. This is what I want to go for. So yeah, that's what I did. And I quite like it, especially on this next picture here, because it matches somehow the picture of the color of the tea right here. It really brightens it, as well as it complements the skin tone, in my opinion, and making it warmer, which I like. On the next video, again, I applied the same effect with 10% opacity brown layer. And the idea behind this picture is having the table here and the benches and their feet as three kind of guidelines, leading lines to the subjects around the table. And it's a kind of a frame, and there is some kind of coherence, in my opinion. And of course, it's a way to document the life at the park, people playing games, gathering, and socializing. This gentleman is on the picture, but it's right behind here. Don't know if you can tell. That's his red jacket. And of course, it's a popping color, so I focused on it this time with, again, this same brown layer on top of it. And for those few pictures, this brown layer technique works, but it doesn't work for every scenes, every colors. So in some next pictures, you will see that I didn't use it. But for those first pictures, I think it works. It just actually warm up the pictures. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, here too, I think I use again this layer. It's a little bit greenish due to the foliage and the leaves. But again, this is the same brown layer I put on top. And here the idea of this picture is that I use the tree to frame the subject and to create some negative space. I think that's the fancy word we use, and create this V shape of light subjects when the rest of the frame is blacked out. So I talk about this technique in others videos, and probably you saw this a million times, but by adding a foreground element to your picture adds some depth to it, as well as it helps framing and reshaping the scene with the ability to clear away or to hide simply the elements you don't want to have in your composition. This picture here is just a picture of the crow which stole the hamburger, if you saw the previous video. And I took it vertically because the tree is a kind of a leading line toward the subject. So it makes more sense to take it vertically since the trunk is vertical. The next picture is the scene of the people watching the bird. So you can see that the bird is somewhere over there because you have this gentleman looking that direction, then this kid and the main subject, the lady who got her hamburger stolen, taking a picture of the crow. And maybe that lady too, I'm not so sure, maybe not. But anyway, oh yeah, you have the kids lady here too as well. So you have a few subjects looking in the same direction, indicating that there is something happening that way. And usually I'm not a big fan of a picture with too many subjects and too many things going on, such as this picture. But in this particular scenario, the fact that they all look in the same direction with the complement of the next picture of the crow itself works well for me in this instance. But usually when there is too many people in the frame, I'm kind of confused and I'm not really sure what to look at. So here is the picture of the crow, and I think here I apply that brown layer technique, and I like the sun reflection there, and I don't really mind this kind of color aberration. I'm not sure how you call those, because to me they a sign of authenticity of the picture. Nowadays with AI we can create stunning pictures out of thin air that doesn't actually exist. So having chromatic aberration like this is a sign of authenticity, and actually I like this detail, this effect on my pictures. This is when I think that technique of brown layer started to fall apart and didn't really work. I think I still apply on this picture here, but on this picture I think it works much less than in the previous ones. So what was interesting to me in this picture is those rails or bar, which creates many frames around different subjects. So the kids playing here, the two main subjects being those two girls having fun. And I wanted to incorporate this structure and all these elements in the picture, because the first idea of the video was to capture and to shoot structure, which ended up being a different video in the end. But anyway, that's that. Here again, capturing the sun is something that I really like to do through some subjects or some elements. And again, here you can see that there is some color aberration, or I'm not sure how you call that kind of flare. And to me, it's something that I like to incorporate in my shots intentionally. And again, as I said in the previous video, I really like the glow around these little buds. Here, same picture. And on the vertical version, I centered the sun in the center of the frame. And the branches around create, again, foreground element and frame around the subjects, which is the combination of the sun with these little buds and all the branches going different ways. So yeah, I really like this picture. Although this thing over there, I wish it was not there, but that's the way it is. So then I moved to the skate park, and this picture idea is to show the size of the structure elements, such as these lights, compared to the human size. And also I like the fact that he is standing straight up when those two poles are also straight, so the straightness or the position, upward position of the two main subjects, the light and the guy, matches. I like that. Here, very simple, the same guy in action, and as a foreground element, a secondary subject also in action, and you can also put those together so you have actually 3 layers of subjects in the same picture, creating some dynamic. Here we have 2 versions of a similar picture. Not sure if I put 2 of them in the previous video, but these are detail shots. So here I focus on the rings, and here the same, but also including the scene in the background. So obviously his head and also people skating in the background. So, but I really like this kind of detail shots. Some sports shots here taken at 24mm, if I remember. Here I like the position, the ball spinning away from the hand, and the reflection on the floor, mirroring the main subject. Again, here framing the 2 subjects with a foreground element. As I explained in the video, I like the contrast of the very straight pole made by men and somewhat bended and going crazy all around different directions, branches of the tree made by nature. Here again, some action shots. I really like, yeah, that last one, or even this one. Maybe this one is a little more neat because this one goes a little bit behind the bicycle. But yeah, I like those. And where is it? Yeah, here you can see that he actually hit the ball. So what I like about this picture that doesn't seem to be much is that I'm into UFO and that kind of things. And here it looks like there is a normal everyday life scene. You see nature, obviously this is a park. There are people in the park here. There is a way, bicycles and stuff. And there is that huge structure right behind the scene. And it looks like even this one would be like a mothership, and that would be a scout. But yeah, you can see that huge unnatural artificial shape, which is also from a different color of the green and brown and natural color. This one is gray and white. So yeah, I like the contrast and the fact that if you are into UFO, it might remind you of a huge UFO behind the scene of everyday life. Here again, just some structure shots. I like the antennas here. I like again that big light we saw before. Obviously the main structure with all those poles, and also the comparison with the scale of humans being tiny next to those huge structures. And I like the colors too, the gray and the blue and the white in this shot. So because I don't like chaos or messy shots, when there are too many things in the frame, or when things are not aligned, or maybe I'm just being lazy, and when I look at the picture, I want to know what I'm looking at, like in the very first few seconds. So usually when I take pictures, I do this. Here you can see that there is a pole in front of what was my main subject, that light on its pole. But then if I were to take the picture in a different way, that pole will be a little bit on the side, and it will be like two different poles. That's why I put it right on top of the other pole, so it doesn't distract from the main pole, I think. And I also like the fact that these are two guiding lines toward the subject over there. And on the sides, you have those lines also going away from the main subject and creating some kind of, I don't know, framing or scaling or some kind of coherence to the picture, in my opinion. And also the 7 and the 6 here looks like they are part of this structure somehow, so I like it. On this vertical shot and a close-up, it's much better to get rid of all the other elements and really to focus on the subject, which again, as I say in the video, looks like a UFO. So it's in the sky and it has the shape of the typical UFO, so I really like it. It really stimulates the imagination in my point of view. I think I didn't incorporate, I didn't put that shot in the video maybe, but here I play with the urban elements to again create some frame, and in this case repetition. So here is the frame around the subject, obviously the man here, and here are the frame repeating themselves and creating this repetition effect. And also, if you look down here, you can see the reflection of the scene, and this reflection creates some kind of circle leading toward the subject. So I kind of like that. So this is more of the type of picture I wanted to take when starting that video. Really here we have the structure, the gray, the scale, the big scale of the building. Here you have a nice contrast with the red of the other frame there. Here you have the stairs, fence, so many layers, so many lines, even the shadows here. I really like all these straight and very unnatural and artificial lines and the effect that creates in the picture. Here, same scene, but incorporating humans. And again, although these are not tiny, you can see that they are much smaller than the structure, and I like that contrast of sizes. And I kind of like the position of the dog right there, following his owners. So I took many pictures of that statue here, and here the idea was to use the light here, the UFO kind of light, as a hat on top of the statue. I thought it was funny. Especially it looks like some kind of Asian hat, and obviously the statue is a witch of a Asian guy. So yeah, I think it works and it's kind of funny. On this picture, what I like is that I managed to incorporate some structure, this spherical art piece, and a lineup of humans here. This walking guy being the leader somehow. Walking guy, lady on a bike, guy walking a faster pace, it seems. Another bicycle and another one again going in the different direction. But this is a stream of humans next to that structure. So the contrast here is movement and stillness. So this kid here was riding his bike in the vicinity, and because he was wearing this silver jacket that looks like or reminds the overall of an astronaut, I thought it would fit perfectly with this spherical structure looking like an alien ship or some kind of out of this world mean of transportation. So I asked him if he could be my subject, and he agreed, so I was very glad. Here is a close-up, and I really like the way his jacket reflects the light. On this one, obviously, as I said in the previous video, I was really attracted by the shape of the tree, the fact that it contrasted with the building behind, and mainly by the afternoon light going through the branches and creating that nice warm feeling. On this picture here, I should have waited for the jogger to be maybe somewhere around here, because unfortunately he's stuck upon the two pillars, and to me this is not a great composition. I don't like when two potential subjects stack on top of each other. So yeah, I wish I had waited for him to be maybe around here. But again, the idea is of course the structure and the way the lights reflects on the structure, giving the different shadows and accentuating the geometrical shapes, and also the comparison of size between human size and building size. Same story here, huge buildings, playing with the light. Again, here we have these sun flares, and you have the human subject much smaller than its surrounding. And this is accentuated by the fact that I used the 24mm focal length, if I'm not mistaken. And also I like the fact that there is his shadow as a mirror of himself. So this is actually probably one of my favorites of the session. It is very basic, it is very simple, but to me it works. So on this picture, the main subject is obviously the tree, and I really like its shape, and I really like the fact that it is a tree. I love trees, I love nature. And beside the main subject, you have other secondary subjects. Here, the couple drinking and chilling out. Here, the guy, I don't know what he's doing, maybe taking a rest or using his smartphone. And the boy, actually, you have another one. These two have the same position. And the boy running, adding some dynamism to the picture. And I like when there is stillness and dynamism or action in the shot. And also I like the fact that again there is that huge structure as a background, and also I liked these red fence and the fact that there are vertical as well as horizontal. Overall, I really like this picture. And here I play with the fact that the sun was low in the horizon and creating the long shadows you can see at the end of the day. So here this is me spreading my legs to create this triangle silhouette. And if you look at this picture, you can see that I have my two arms spread, yet I'm the one to take the picture. Well, actually this is a trick, of course. Actually, this arm is this arm that I copied and pasted over there, and this is the real arm taking the picture. So that's the trick I made. But what I wanted to do is remind somehow of Jesus Christ. I'm not Christian, I'm not against Christianity or whatever, but this is just a reference that we all have in mind. So the fact that I'm standing like on a cross, taking a self-portrait of my shadow was something that I found funny, and I wanted to add in the video. So here you have all the pictures and the explanation behind. You saw that on the first few pictures, I used that technique that I had in mind for quite some time of adding a color layer on top of the edited picture. This time I went for brown, and I think I'm gonna use that brown, or maybe a different brown, but I don't know. I want to go with browns because I don't think anybody else uses brown as far as I know, and it's very strange color to add, to use for editing pictures. But yeah, I feel, yeah, I have to work with brown these days, just as other artists, mainly painters, have phases in their creative journey. Some of them go for blue for a whole year or whatever. So this time I want to experiment with brown. So probably I'm gonna use that technique, maybe tweak it around, try to perfect it, or changing it in some ways. But yeah, I'm gonna use that technique again. But as I said earlier, and as you saw, I didn't use the same technique for the whole pictures because it doesn't work everywhere. So hopefully knowing what triggered my interest taking those pictures is interesting and inspiring to you. Hopefully you picked up a few tricks. If you did so, please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you for your time watching this video. Thank you for your support. And until next time, enjoy the ride and spread the love.